make an interview to Miss Sonia from High School of Tecnológico de Monterrey, who is an English teacher. However, she is teaching children for elementary school on Saturday.
Hi Miss, we are students from Business and Communication class and we would like to ask some questions about your job. Well, the first question is what will be the most challenging teaching topic for children of this level?
I think that the most challenging teaching topics for children is grammar, in my experience. You need to manage how to make them infer grammar. You need to act, you need to show, and then you need to speak very well in order for them to copy models and trying to infer. But grammar, it's very difficult to teach for them, as well as difficult for them to understand.
The second question is what are the most effective techniques to catch kids' attention?
One of the most effective techniques to teach children is moving. Moving. Another one will be singing, and they love to touch. So that would be 3 different techniques to get their attention.
What material is the most advisable to use for learning a language?
There are lots of materials nowadays to use in teaching a language for children. You need to make them touch, you need to make them cut, you need to make them draw and color and sing and move and explore. Oof. What you need is time to make them have this kind of experience in order to learn.
What dynamics to learn vocabulary would you advise?
When you try to make them learn vocabulary, there will be lots of strategies. One that comes to my mind is to make them bring toys. They love toys, and then they love touching, and then they love building stories. In that way, it comes to my mind to teach vocabulary. That would be an effective one.
What methodology do you use in your teaching practice?
Why do we teach students foreign language? Well, the main aim is to teach them to communicate, to use language to speak, to listen, to write, to communicate as well as in the writing and in the spoken part.
How can IT be used for language teaching?
Nowadays, children love apps, so you can use the iPad, you can use the computer, you can search on the web songs, stories, advertisements, and movies for children. Those kind of materials would be good for them to learn.
How many hours a week it is advisable to be dedicated during childhood in learning an additional language such as English?
A bilingual school suggests that children study English like 5 or 10 hours. There are bilingual schools that make students have 10 hours of English. But the bilingual means if they have math, they have geography, they have history. It does not mean grammar, listening, reading, which they are the skills. No, it does not mean bilingual. So a bilingual school demands 10 hours per week.
In which section should teachers focus more while teaching English?
Children need to listen a lot. Children need to practice speaking a lot, and children need to write. That's why not only one section needs to be taught. They need to speak, they need to listen, they need to read, they need to write. So all skills are important.
What is the biggest obstacle while teaching children a new language such as English?
I think the biggest obstacle for children to learn, maybe I should say that when they start elementary school at older age, when they start elementary at like 9 or 10 years, they feel scared, and then it happens sometimes that they spend 2 weeks like being sick because they are afraid of the teacher all the time speaking to them in English. But one of the things is that, but when you see that a student is nodding the head and then is showing that his eyes shows that they are on, that he or she is understanding, oh wow, that's a good prize for you.
Thank you,
Thank you very
teacher.
much. It's a pleasure for me.